From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. We appreciate you downloading our new Fox 59 Smart TV app on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Samsung TV. Deja has it memorized. She's over there bobbing her head to my little intro. I see you over there, Deja. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube so you never miss the conversations we have every night at 8 o'clock right here on Fox 59 Tonight. I already gave you a hint of who is here. It's the beginning of the week. So we go take a deep dive with Deja where we always get to introduce you to somebody cool, somebody new, somebody that you should know.
Yes, thank you, Cam. First, I'm so excited to be here. This is a very fun one for me today. Another comedian is in the house with us. Clara-D, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. So glad to be here.
I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. We'll get into it, how you have won a competition here, how you're headed somewhere nationally. But before we get there, you've had a lot of shows in Indianapolis. I want to hear about your start in comedy. Where did Clara-D start in comedy? How did Clara-D get started in comedy?
And I just want to also point out, Deja, that you said there's another comedian in the room. You're the other comedian in the room.
So, we had another comedian on.
So,
I'm about Justin.
All I'm saying is I expect to laugh during the show.
But you're the biggest joke of them all. No.
Okay.
The biggest joke of them all.
Okay.
Cameron, you have surprised us so many times. Do you know he does improv? He doesn't.
No.
Well, he has some. I should say some impressions.
There was some impressions.
Yeah,
I mean, I could improv.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but,
and, you know, but
this isn't about me. We're here about Clara-D.
It sure is, and I've hosted a lot of her shows.
Okay.
So this is really fun for me. Because I don't know your full backstory as to how you got into this, because, and Cameron, you don't know this part, but she's multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
She's also a pastor.
Oh.
Right. And we haven't said this on camera yet, but a victim advocate. And so you have a lot of things that you're multi-hyphenate, and they all kind of go into each other in some way. But I want to hear, when somebody gets started in comedy, I want to hear about their backstory, because sometimes comedy, it can come from a lot of different places. It can come because somebody thinks you're goofy. It can also come because of like pain, and this is like a way for you to laugh and escape. So tell me about that starting, how Clara-D got into comedy.
Okay, so here it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing comedy like 35 years. 35 years. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was a part of the Big Brother, Big Sister program.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I would do, for their Christmas brunch, I would do a skit or put together some play or just get up and just say something that would make people laugh.
Were you a part of it because 35 years, were you a part of it as a kid, or were you a part of it as an adult?
That's so sweet.
I don't know.
I was a mentor for mentor mothers. So I was a mentor for teenage mothers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had 2 little sisters.
And so you started doing skits?
Yes, I started doing skits, writing plays, and then just getting up saying whatever that was funny about the program or about my experience in the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program.
Okay.
And then from there, I was a member of Light of the World Christian Church. And so on Sunday mornings before the bishop would preach at 8 o'clock, we would do some impromptu related to his sermon. And so I just started to just do.
You guys just do impromptu?
Yeah.
Just like impromptu comedy? Or just impromptu about the sermon, and then you just happen to be funny?
Yeah, he would tell us the title of his sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Then we would come up with some impromptu skit that would coincide with the sermon.
To make people laugh.
8 o'clock in the morning. You have to wake people up.
And what church is this?
It was Light of the World Christian Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where everybody's supposed to be, you think of serious and everything, y'all over there clown.
Exactly.
What kind of church is this?
Yeah.
They play games.
We started off with a good little laugh. We sure did.
That's a good way to get people
in the door.
8 o'clock in the morning. We sure did.
Okay, so how does it go from these skits and plays type of thing to you doing it? Because sometimes with skits and plays, it's like you're with other people, it brings like a harmony. But what I like about stand up, and everybody's different, it's just by yourself.
Right.
You know, you don't have anything that could be throwing you off or having to memorize a script per se. It's you telling your story. So how did you get from like, tell me the rest of Light of the World to where we are now?
Okay, so over the years, I continued to do skits, and then in 2017, someone called me and said, "We're having this program at our church. Can you do stand up?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, I do skits." And they said, "Oh yeah, but you can do stand up." And I thought, "Can I?" Well, okay, that's fine. I said, "Okay, I accept that challenge," and so I started figuring out, how am I going to do stand up? I'm used to doing skits, and so I wrote jokes. I wrote jokes that were appropriate for church or what have you, because I do total clean comedy. And then I said, this is so wonderful to be at a church because every church has church announcements. So I wrote my jokes. I was going to put them on the podium so I could look. Because I'm thinking, I can't remember all of that.
Sure you can.
And when I got there, I realized I had lost my notes.
Oh no!
And they said, "You're up in 5 minutes." I thought, "Oh my God, no!" And
that's
I said,
scary.
"I'll be back." I went in my car. I looked around. I couldn't find my notes. I said, "Well, I'm just gonna have to wing it," and I did. And so I've never used a note ever, and I never will.
That's
impressive,
to say the least, because I know a lot of people that use notes. And
so how do you always remember all of your jokes? And I say that because like if you watch singers who we know all the words to their songs, but they forget their own songs sometimes.
Yeah, that happened last night.
Yeah, was that Kelly Rowland? Yeah, I've seen that. Patti LaBelle. Everybody forgets their own lyrics. So, but we know comedians will reuse the same sets and same comedy. Do you ever reuse it, or do you use it once and you forget it, or do you always remember it?
I always remember them. I have different sets for different places. I do theme comedy. If it's a birthday, I'm talking about birthdays. If it's church, if it's anniversary, if it's a girl's day out, I'm going to talk about girl stuff. And sometimes I kind of switch them up a little bit, but I go over them over and over and over in my mind. I don't forget. And I type them and I put them in a binder, and I can tell you every set I've done, everywhere I've done it.
Wow. Do you, so to be clear, you practice your sets before you get there?
I practice days.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's impressive. And I feel like it's kind of a lost art in comedy sometimes, because sometimes people, they don't do that, and they get up on stage and it's like they try to improv a set that it's like, well, actually, I think you should have, and I think that some things are okay to improv, like, you know, depending on the situation and how you have to fill things out, especially, you know, if you're hosting and stuff. I think that sometimes it is okay. But when you have a planned set, that changes things. You can't, to me, you can't just get up there and riff in the audience, you know, for some comedians are good at that. But I don't know. Do you ever look in your audience and riff on people?
Never.
So we can sit in the front row at your place.
Sit in the front row. I always say it's a safe place. You can sit in the front row. Never. My opinion is, it's only my opinion. Everybody got one, right? So if the audience is your material, it's because you're lazy and you didn't write anything.
I mean, I get that.
So no, I don't make the audience my material, especially not in a negative way. You know, if I go there and it's an occasion, and if I'm in a church, I'll say something about the pastor, you know, but it's always uplifting and it's funny.
Yeah.
So do you, since you remember everything, do you write anything ahead of time, or is it always on the spot, or do you work on a set ahead of time?
I work on it ahead of time.
Okay.
So I have a dry erase board.
Okay.
I write out the set. I write it and I read it. Then I erase it.
Okay.
Then I write it again.
What are some other tips that you would give to a comic who's starting out Or maybe who? I mean, you've been doing this a long time at this point, so maybe who's someone who's advanced.
Oh, I would tell them to write your jokes, make them your jokes, not anybody else's jokes. Write your jokes, practice them over and over and over. And as I'm currently writing another book, I'm gonna give my title. Hope nobody steals it. but the title of the book is "Stand Up or Sit Down: A Basic Guide to Clean Comedy."
Oh, okay.
So I want to talk to you a second about what clean comedy is, but you've been doing this for how long?
35 years.
35 years. And so the question Deja was asking is, what advice would you give to her? Because she's a younger, starting out, fresh comedian. And she wants to know.
I'm taking this. I'm writing
and she wants to know.
Down. I'm going to play this back, and memorize this.
What advice would you give to Deja?
I would say be authentic. Be who you are. Whatever kind of comedy you do, do it. Make sure that it's comfortable for you. Don't look at other comedians and repeat what they do. Don't look at them and go, oh, I should do that. No, just do what comes natural for you.
Yeah.
Don't give in to the hype. Don't give in to the pressure.
Yeah.
I go to places and sometimes I'm the only one doing clean comedy. And I'm like, well, dang, I'm going to look funny because I'm not cursing. But no, I'm being me. I'm always gonna be me.
Yeah, that makes that is helpful advice, and you can tell when someone respectfully, like when they've watched maybe a lot of Kevin Hart, like you can literally hear it in like their pitch and the way that they speak and the way that they move or something like that. Yeah. So being yourself is key.
Yeah,
but it's also something that's really, really difficult, especially with clean comedy. That's a whole different ball game. And did you want to ask some questions about that?
Yeah. So, because I think it is important to find somebody that you like and take notes from, but to your point, you can hear there are certain people that just have that sound, and Kevin Hart has a very unique sound. So when you look at clean comedy, first person I think of, who do you think I think of? Clean comedy.
I already know.
Who?
Don't say Sinbad.
And?
No, it's not Sinbad?
Is the person who
it was Sinbad.
Is Sinbad and the person who absolutely loves Sinbad and put him on a show, Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Hey, Bill Cosby put Sinbad on.
Okay.
Like, okay.
Ain't nothing playing on Bill
Cosby. Whoa. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother show.
That's another episode.
Okay, Bill Cosby put Sinbad on. If you actually,
he put a lot of people on. Really,
but he put Sinbad on because Bill Cosby did the clean comedy and he really liked Sinbad. That's why he ended up on A Different World. So now
you're passionate about this.
I am. Cosby Show is my favorite show. Like this again, we can get into a whole. It is my absolute favorite show.
I like the Cosby Show, but
you have a problem.
To say it's my favorite show, like a show from the 80s, wasn't it? This was
yes, 80s and 90s, and your problem is with the current, more recent headlines of Bill Cosby. Let me talk to somebody who can relate to what I'm saying. You're not. Yeah. Tell me, your clean comedy. Where did you get your inspiration from?
Well, I have children and grandchildren, and I will not, like they say, embarrass my family. I will not, I represent a lot of places. I represent the church. I represent my job. I'm not going to say or do anything that's going to embarrass them or make me look bad. I'm just not going to do that. I'd rather be held in a brighter light than going out here and just doing all this cursing, doing all this other stuff. No, I'm inspired by the people I surround myself with. Yeah.
I think that there's a lot, that you have to, when you think about comedy, when you think about like your job, and does that ever feel, because for me personally, like when it comes to stand up, sometimes I feel like a bit of like pressure. Like I don't want to just say and do anything. So how do you carry that? How do you carry that weight of being yourself and being who you are? And managing the fact that you want to be funny, and like holding the fact that also I have a job that has insurance and it's my livelihood. How do you hold all these things together? Because for me, that's the hard thing.
Well, I absolutely love my job.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't tell jokes about my job because it's a serious matter. I mean, there's some funny stuff now, but I would never say it out loud. There's a lot of funny things that happen in that court, in my job. But I just have to keep a balance between the church. Oh, we know we got so many church jokes, but between the church and the comedy and the job, I just have to find a balance and all of that. None of it for me, seriously, is pressure. It's just not. It's just what I do. It's what I love to do. And the advantage is when I'm at work, there are appropriate times when I can insert something funny because our families cry a lot. And so I'm able to interject with something funny and something real that they really like, okay, like we're good, we didn't plan on laughing, but we leave here sometimes laughing.
Yeah. And can you tell people a little bit about what you do? Because I know we said victim advocate, but can you elaborate just a little bit further on what that means?
Absolutely. So here in Indianapolis, when a family is affected by gun violence, and if there's a murder, mostly my caseload is homicide, I meet with the family along with the prosecutors and our other team members. We explain to them the process. And for me, I walk alongside with that family through the entire process. I go to hearings. I attend the trial. If there's a conviction, I attend the sentencing. So from the beginning to the end, I'm there for a bit of emotional support, direct them to counseling, help them find resources.
Wow. And that's a tough thing because I also, now this was a long time ago now, and it's crazy to say that, but I used to work in the city county building. I think I was in your office just like maybe it was like 1 or 2 days or something, like maybe a week or whatever, because I would like go around to all of the different offices, and because I was under Mila Eldridge at the time, and she would just send me to different places and stuff like that. And one thing that I can say is, working in a court is hard, like especially depending on what kind of court you're in.
Right.
And some of them are a lot easier, like when you go to, like, I went to naturalization ceremonies. Those are like exciting and fun. Right. And but homicide court is not exactly fun. So I think it's amazing how you carry that. Do you ever feel like comedy, like, what does comedy do for you? Because for me, it adds a little like light to my life.
Okay. So when my family went through so much tragedy, I made a promise to myself that I would laugh more than I cry. And so I'm always looking for an opportunity to laugh, to make others laugh, to make others smile. And so comedy, whether it's a cliche, comedy gives me life.
It does.
Because I'm going to find something to smile about or laugh about in any situation. It doesn't matter what it is. I may have to sit back and be like,
yeah,
that was a lot. But yeah, comedy gives me life.
Who's your favorite comedian?
I always seem like such a hypocrite because I really don't have one. But
no,
you know what?
I don't.
But I love Wanda. I love Wanda.
As you should.
I love
Wanda Sykes?
Yes, okay, I love her. She is so dang on funny. I like her. I like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I like Kevin Hart too. I think Kevin Hart sometimes he gets the ringer. Like, people talk about him a lot.
Yeah.
But I really think he's funny.
Yeah.
And I really think he holds the ball well, especially because he is in a lot of movies and he actually does have sets. Like some comedians, they'll just come and they'll just, just like we were saying earlier, they'll just wing it.
Yeah.
But he still talks about his life, and it finds a way to be like still personal and still relatable.
Right.
And when comedians get a lot of, like, to me, when they get a lot of money and a lot of status, it's like there can just be a distance between what we experience and what they experience, and so they don't always keep that relatable thing going on there. So
I looked at his documentary, Kevin Hart, and I was so inspired because he wanted to be a comedian. He said you have to eat it, you have to sleep it, you have to become it. You have to immerse yourself into that comedic role. And I thought, he's right. If you're serious about it, I mean, he dedicated himself to that. And so when I'm thinking about my comedy, I often think of Kevin Hart. I'm like, you have to do this. You have to immerse yourself into that, and to become the comedian you want to be. It's going to take a lot of work.
Ooh. How do you dedicate yourself to it?
Oh, I'm so dedicated to it. I just need a little space. I'll go off, and like I said, I'll write the jokes. I'm always looking for things that are funny, but I dedicate time to it. I'm doing comedy on purpose. If I have to do impromptu, I can, but it's always respectful. But I dedicate. I'm not going to go and do a set for anybody, and they go, "What was that?"
Yeah.
No, I'm serious about it. Whatever I give it all. Every time I step on that stage, I'm giving it all I got, and I'm not halfwaying.
Yeah. How do you come up with a joke? So you keep saying that you write jokes. You write jokes. Well, some people they struggle with that. They get a bit of I guess you could say a writer's block maybe. How does a joke form from just being this moment in your head to being a joke on paper and then on stage?
And I think part of it, you already said, you first think about who the audience is going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just look at life. When I was a kid, my mother would say, "Girl, everything ain't funny." And I was like, okay, because I wasn't trying to be funny, but I guess I had a sense of humor when I was a kid. And my mom would say all the time, "Girl, everything ain't funny." And I thought, well, yeah, but this is funny to me. So I just look at life, and I find something funny out of those stories because I have hundreds of life stuff.
Right. And and you say you don't want to embarrass your family.
Oh my God, I don't.
But one person that you talk about a lot is Brother Bill.
Yes.
So let's hear about Brother Bill.
Yes.
Let's hear about this man.
Oh my God. So Bill is my youngest brother. Has an opinion about everything. I do mean everything. He tries to stay up on world events. And then when he was a kid, he had an issue with his speech. I mean, I didn't even know they had speech therapy so many years ago, but he went to speech therapy, and we still could not understand half what he was saying.
No.
So here he is now, 60-something years old. We still don't understand half the stuff he says. And Brother Bill, he calls 10 times a day. I mean, he just calls and calls, and he be like, this is Bill. Like, Bill, I know it's you. What are you doing? You got caught or something today? And I say, yeah, Bill, I'm in court. Well, I'll call you back later. I said, that's fine. 20 minutes later, this is the Bill. I'm like, Bill, are you still at work? Yes, call me back later. Okay, I didn't want anything. I promise an hour later he'll call back. I'm like, are you crazy? Quit calling me. I'll call you when I get out from work. And he'll say, I'm calling Miss Prosecutor. He just thinks it's so funny. He said, you work all day long. I call Miss Prosecutor. I said, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm an advocate. Okay, same thing. Call me later. So yeah, Brother Bill is a part of my life. Calls every day. He has something to say about everything.
So when you put your family members in your set, how do you do it to where it's funny but true but not hurtful? And do you ask them, or are things based off of them? Do you change the name?
That's a balance right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't change the name.
Okay.
People don't think that Bill is a real person. Okay. They'll go, it's like, he's a real person, really your brother. I'm like, yes. So Bill knows that I'm going to tell these jokes about him because they are true. They're not made up. And sometimes go, are you going to use that in your comedy? I'm like, yes. Okay, good. Make sure don't forget you say this and that. I'm like, boy, nobody's going to forget that. But yeah, I don't say things that are hurtful or embarrassing to Bill. And if it's a joke that I think is on the line, I'll say, hey, Bill, I want to use this joke. Do you mind if I use it? Oh, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Say what you want to say. That's fine. Just talk about Billy. I mean, he's the funniest person you ever want to meet. I tell people, Bill is really a genius in his own right. If you can understand what he's saying, he's a genius in his own right. So he's very proud that I'm using him in this comedy. He's so proud of that.
What about other family members?
My dad is deceased, but the only person I've used recently is my dad. And oh boy, I got some daddy stories for you. And I was saying last time that when you asked my dad something, he said, ask whatever you want to ask. But when you ask him something, he'll ask you the same question, then say, "For what?" So it's like, hey, Dad, should I go to college? He said, "Should you go to college? For what?"
Mm-hmm.
People around here working at the village pantry got a college degree. So I'm like, okay. So I said, well, I was so frustrated. I said, well, dang, I can't wait to get grown. You can't wait to get grown? For what? To worry about high blood pressure, low blood pressure, pay some bills. I was like, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be regular grown. I didn't want to be grown and deal with all of that. Forget that. So yeah, if my dad were alive, he would be like Bill. He'd be so thrilled because he make himself laugh.
Are you one of those people? So like, it sounds like your dad was unintentionally funny. Are you intentionally funny, or are you unintentionally funny? Like you just say something like, and you truly meant it, and you weren't trying to be funny. Like my mom has a friend, and I still her joke all the time, but she asked my mom, she said, "Hey, are you going to such and such's funeral?" And she said, "For what? She ain't coming to mine." But she meant it. And I just thought like that is unintentional funny.
Yeah.
Where do you fall in that? Because like, yeah, she's right. She ain't coming to your funeral.
Really? She ain't like her.
I get that a lot. When I'm just saying things and people laugh, I'm like, I wasn't trying to be funny. Somebody similar. Somebody called me and they were just crying and boo-hooing and Sister so-and-so passed away. Oh my God, they passed away. And I said, I didn't know y'all was cool like that. She's like, what? I was like, I didn't know y'all was cool like that. She said, oh man, let me just wipe these tears. I'm calling you all broke down. And you gonna say, I said, well, I didn't. I wasn't trying to be funny. I was like, I didn't know y'all was cool like that. So I get that sometimes.
So when did you? Because I know you're funny. You have your funny, times and conversation. But for me, learning that you did stand up was relatively recent, and so hearing the 2017 aligns with that. And you were in some shows of your own. When did you move to producing your own show? When was the first time you had your own show?
First time I produced my own show was 2023.
Okay, what show was that?
And that was Laughing with the Ladies.
Laughing with the Ladies. Okay.
Deja was my wonderful host. Deja has been the host on all 5 of the shows that I have produced.
Is she actually funny?
Because she's funny.
She hasn't told any jokes.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you're here.
What?
So I don't be telling. I get nervous. I get nervous about what. It's not like, it's more so like, I feel like I have to balance working here. Like, I feel like that's the biggest thing for me. Like, it's like, it just makes me a little bit more nervous, especially because,
Well, I know you like to do political jokes and stuff too.
Yeah, I know. And so, I have to think about that, And so, but
so how do you
really innocent? And then it's like, I want to say stuff, but it's like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be offensive. Right. But then at the same time, it's like, maybe somebody in here has to be offended at some point.
Well, and then I think that's part of her thing is know what your room is. Like if you got called to do a comedy set at the Republican National Convention,
I wouldn't do that.
Jokes about Donald Trump. I'm not going to go there. Jokes about Barack Obama, although there's really not anything funny about him. Would work. I mean, there's not. That's why nobody does a joke about Barack Obama. There's nothing funny about him. He's just chill. So
I feel like that was an invitation for you to do your joke about you. Definitely, he has a Barack Obama impersonation.
No. I wasn't trying to cue that up. I can do some impersonations, but I've done that. Like that's a neutral room thing to do. Is an impersonation because even whether you like the person or you're not, the goal is to get the audience to be like, dang, that was a good impersonation.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you, especially in this day and age, do you do comedy about the topics of the world that we're living in right now, or do you just steer clear from all that?
I don't do jokes about politicians, political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You just stay clear.
Yep, I just stay clear.
What about pop culture things?
Every now and then, when everything was popping off about Monique and Cat Williams and all of that, and then when I I did my show, I was like, aha, I bet y'all thought I was great talk about Monique and Cat Williams, but I'm not. And then I just went on to the next thing, even with the Marvin Sapp thing, when I
close the door.
Yeah, close the door.
Close the door.
I went to do comedy at the church. I was like, but y'all thought I was going to talk about Marvin Sapp. Nope, just close them doors. We moving on. That kind of thing. So,
yes, okay.
Yeah.
You might just hit on it a little bit.
And that's I do some of that when I do emceeing, because everybody, it's already in the moment. Like we just had.
And those kind of things can be helpful. I talked about Sarah Jakes when it was at your show when her wig fell off, and some people were a little bit mad at it, but it was nice to know that because it is more of a Christian audience, more of a churchy audience. Sarah Jakes is T.D. Jakes' daughter, and she was giving a sermon, and her wig fell off during the sermon.
This isn't the girl who was sitting on the couch on that podcast, was it?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. This isn't her. Sarah Jakes. You know who Sarah Jakes is? Mm-mm. See, this is me not knowing my room. But you know who Sarah. Do you know who Sarah Jakes is? Sarah Jakes. So her wig fell off on I think it maybe was the first or second Laughing with the Ladies. I think this was Laughing with the Ladies at this point. Where I mentioned that in the set, and it evoked strong emotions from people. Mm-hmm. Some people laughed about it. Some people were like, but like speaking in the moment to me is a part of being a comedian, and it's a part of being in news. It's a part of the whole thing.
Well, we just did. Beershell and I, we just emceed the Miss Circle City Classic coronation. Okay, and we had. It's actually when you're about to announce a winner, it's a very nerve-wracking thing because you're like, because you're like, you want to get this right.
How would you get it wrong, Steve Harvey?
Exactly. So we made that joke. Mm-hmm. Do you know what happened this year? We read the names and we had made the Steve Harvey joke. So we're reading the names, and I say. And Miss Circle City Classic 2025 is Bené Daniels. And everybody's like, what? Because she's not on stage. And so she was actually off stage. Somehow there was a mix-up.
No! You actually got a mix-up?
There was I
thought you were just kidding. I thought you were just saying you made a joke.
No, we made the joke, and then we jinxed ourselves because on the card that I had, it had the winner's name. So the name that I read was correct, but the winner was not on stage because the way it was written, it made it appear that she wasn't in the top 5. Like somebody made a mistake off stage. How did they make this mistake? So this just happened. So when you talk about, you're trying to read the room, like we know what we're all thinking is the Steve Harvey moment, and then of course it happens. So that happened, but we recovered well because again, the name that was on the card, the name that I read was the actual winner. She just wasn't on stage, and so it made it like, wait a minute, how could you read her name if she's not on stage in the top 5?
What was she doing?
Somebody made the mistake, like when we called out like the names.
I see what you're saying. They like these at this point. Let's say there's 30 girls, and then they removed 25 of the girls off the stage.
Correct.
Okay.
They removed her, and they weren't supposed to.
Oh.
So I'm going through because Beershell's saying the top 5, top 3, and then I do the top 1, and the person I say is not there on stage. So that is something we can all relate to of how do you recover now on stage, but you also got to control the room because I'm going to tell you, there were people in the back
who feel like
they were like, cheated. Yo, whoa, hold up, give her crown and all this and all that. So
no, that make people mad.
Yeah, so
my dad's still mad about the fact that I didn't win.
You were in it?
I was in the Circle City Classic coronation. I was in the Black Expo thing, and he felt like y'all was back there shuffling papers and
cooking the books. What year was that?
Honestly.
What year was that?
I graduated high school in 2013. So, it would have been around that.
Well, I wasn't the host.
2012, 2011.
Wow. I wasn't the host.
Of course, you weren't. Weren't. It maybe I think it was Steve Jefferson. Like that. Like that. It would have been like that kind of. I'm not saying it was him, but that it would have been that era.
But that is all a lesson in reading the room and also controlling the room. Because like while we're trying to be funny on one hand, it's like, wait a second, okay, hold on, y'all. We do have a serious thing. Judges, I need y'all to come over here. Parents, hold on. Ladies, don't move. Hold on, let's get this all figured out. And then once it was like, okay, then it was like, we said, guess we shouldn't have said that Steve Harvey joke.
So, oh, they was mad at y'all. They still mad.
I was like, I'm gonna need somebody to walk me to my car.
You need security.
Need security.
Yeah, you're gonna have some parents beat you up after that.
It was potential. So you try to avoid all that.
Yep. Well, Deja is a great host. She is. She's able to gauge the crowd.
Okay.
She's able to get them to interact, with that crowd. I usually have an older crowd, so they just able to interact with them and get them to participate. Yeah, she's a great host.
Okay.
Yeah, she's funny.
I have to come to a show. I haven't been invited.
You have to come to a show.
On, you got to come to a show.
Haven't been invited, so know when the show is.
No, okay.
But you do have a show coming up this week. You got something important that you're competing in.
Yes.
Tell us more.
So on October the 2nd, here in Indianapolis, they had the Search for the One comedy show, which is sponsored by Joke Farm Network Television. And so there were 8 comedians, and we have very strict rules. 7 minutes per comedian. You couldn't go under 6 or you was disqualified. You couldn't go over 8 or you were disqualified.
Do they have a timer?
Oh, wow.
They had a timer. They were courteous and they gave us a light at 6 minutes.
Okay.
Nice.
And it had to be clean, like squeaky clean. So many things you couldn't say or do.
Like what?
Like you couldn't curse. You couldn't talk about sex. You couldn't talk about things that would offend the church. Things that would offend the audience. We had so many rules that you could not.
That would offend the audience.
All those body parts. We can talk about all those body parts people like to talk about. You couldn't even allude. And people like to say, really? Mother, no, shut your mouth. You could not do that.
Okay.
So we had 2 runner-ups. So when they called us out, which we talk about stressful, I thought, oh, so like this is like American Idol going to call us out and, the top 4. So they top 5, I think it was. But either way, so I was in the top 2. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in the top 2. And then the guy, Mr. Hill, he was the first winner. And then they said our runner-up is Clara-D. And I was like, what? And they said, oh, you're going to South Carolina. I was like, what? What? And oh, God, the pictures was like, what? I just lost it. So so the competition, the final competition is this Saturday, the 25th, in Orangeburg, South Carolina, 6 o'clock. There are 12 finalists. So
let's hang on.
Okay.
Does that mean how are the regions broke up? Because from what I'm hearing is that if you were the winner in Indiana,
right,
which means you would be the funniest clean comic in Indiana.
Second runner-up, yes.
Second runner-up. Yes. So it's you and Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Would be the 2 funniest?
Yes.
And so now you both are going to go to South Carolina?
Yes.
To be part of a group of 12?
Yes.
Where are the other people? Do you know where the other people are from?
Okay.
Atlanta. Oh, that's a tough one.
You don't know that.
I mean, Atlanta, that's a lot of people in Atlanta, and a lot of
I don't mean, you don't know who it is. I'm saying they might not be funny.
They probably aren't. We're with the funniest person right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have Atlanta, Alabama.
Okay.
South Carolina. Another part of Carolina and Indianapolis, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I hear the funniest duo, funniest 2 people from the Midwest. Because all the other places you said were down south.
Yes. Yes.
To me, it is really hard to be a clean comic. Do you ever feel like, because I'm a Christian, I grew up in church, but I don't necessarily classify myself as a clean comic exactly. Like, I don't necessarily use that term. Do you ever, and the reason is because I feel like comedy is like a place of freedom. I've done clean comedy, I've done it several times, especially because a lot of the people that I'm in, in my community are Christian people. And so a lot of the shows that I've been a part of, they are Christian shows, or they have that audience. So I've done it a lot, and that's cool. But there is a level of, like, to me, rigidness that comes with it that I don't like, but there's a level of freedom that comes with, just saying, hey, I'm doing stand up, and this is what I'm talking about, and this is like real and raw, and sometimes I feel like church needs that a little bit, and sometimes church be kind of sweeping that kind of stuff under the rug a little bit. But do you ever feel that clean comedy is, because another thing to add to that is sometimes I feel like people use curse words as like filler words, almost like they're not actually being funny. And do you feel like clean comedy is harder in any capacity than, say, regular stand-up comedy?
I think it's challenging if you curse, if it's your natural to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like I say, run around loose, just want to be loose. It's challenging, it's challenging, but I don't curse, it's not a cursor. Now, I do know how, I just don't. And I make it a practice not to. And then, like, certain things I think that are private, I don't want to hear about your sex life.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's disgusting to talk all about your sex life. So I'm never going to do a joke about that, even though I've heard jokes that I thought was funny. And I've been like, do we have those body parts? I don't know what they're talking about. So for me, it's not hard because those aren't conversations that I have out loud. I would talk about certain things in front of certain people. So I'm like, it's not hard. But for some people it is, especially with cursing. When I have my comedy shows, I tell the comedians, we can't curse. We just can't do it. And so it's hard for them. They be like, they can try to stop themselves.
They lean on it.
And so it's challenging if it's not what you do naturally.
Yeah, and they I'm glad you mentioned sex, because people will talk about those things, and then it's like, but that's not even, like, it's literally, sometimes it's not even funny.
Right, it's disgusting.
And sometimes it is, and it does fall into that scope where it's like, but are we gonna get to the space of where at least this could be funny?
Right.
Like, at least, if you're not, at least you could be funny. And then the cursing, I do feel like sometimes people, they rely on it and they lean on it. Now, sometimes I think it could be like, it could, depending on a comedian, like certain people, like, it could be really impactful and it could really make their set what it is. But, I just think you have to make sure you don't use it as a crutch.
And if it's not offensive, you can say a curse word in your set, but when it's overkill, just every other word is curse. It's like we've lost the whole message. I don't know what you're talking about now, because I'm going to leave out here remembering they said MF 17 times. I don't know what you said it for, but I'm like, they said it so much, I lost the joke.
There was one when Mike Epps, he came and brought his crew here recently. There was one, I couldn't remember his name, but like halfway through, I was like, wait a minute, am I getting old? Because this isn't funny, because he's cussing a lot. And I cuss. But I'm like, is that, like, it's not funny.
Yeah. Like, I can handle it. Like, I can handle the cursing. I mean, I've gone in some sets, I've been like, ooh, that was a lot of cussing. Others, I've been like, now, they did not write one joke. They just cursed it out. 20 minutes. Curse. Look around the place, curse for nothing. Cursing for nothing. So, no.
Now, of course, one of the funniest people to curse.
I know you're going to say it.
Bernie Mac.
I know you're going to say it. I know.
Second favorite TV show.
Yes.
Another impression that you have that you didn't give us last time that I expect you. Don't act like you.
Oh, I don't know. Every line of Bernie says a cuss word.
I love Bernie Mac, though. I do.
Yeah,
and that's what I say when I see comedians. I'm like you're not Bernie Mac. That won't work. I mean, I can listen to Bernie Mac all day and just crack up. But I'm like, that doesn't work for you. You gotta find your own.
You gotta be yourself.
Yeah, gotta find your own.
So tell us also about the show tomorrow. You have a show tomorrow?
Yes, I have a show tomorrow at the Day Adult Daycare. It's for their staff as well as for the client. So those shows are very interesting. I have a set. I've written a set, but I never know how it's going to go. Yeah. It's a 30-minute set. And oftentimes they interject. Some of the clients, they say things. I make a joke about Long's Bakery, which I don't do it anymore at the Day Adult, because I make the joke. I say, I understand people get down their luck. They ask for money, but go to a place where people are happy. They have cash. Go to Long's Bakery. Everybody's happy going in, happy coming out, and they have cash. And last time I did that joke, somebody said, well, I haven't been to Long's Bakery in a long time. I like Long's Bakery. And it just set off a thing. Everybody started saying, I like Long's Bakery. Oh, no. This is a joke I can't tell, because it set off something. Everybody want to talk about Long's Bakery.
As long as wasn't paying you.
Yeah, right. And so I'm very mindful about the jokes I tell and try to limit them. And then when the clients want to talk, I just stop and let them talk. Then I just pick back up. I know what I'm going to say. I start and I stop. I start and I stop. It's a different experience, but it's very, very rewarding, because at the end, I play my coming out song, which is Express Yourself.
Yeah.
I come out to that song every set, but when I play it at the end, at the Day Adult, oh my God, they get up and they dance and they clap. And I've seen people to put their walker to the side, like, wait a minute, hold on. So yeah, it's so exciting, because they all seem to engage at the end. That song just does something for them.
Yeah. Why'd you select that song?
It's expression. Like you talk about comedy being free, it's a place of expression.
And it's the lyrics of the song.
Yeah, that song, Express Yourself. Just do what you do.
Because it's not what you look like.
There you go.
When you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing when you're doing what you look like you're doing. Express yourself.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, that's why I chose that song. Everybody can express themselves.
You talked about how you do, or tomorrow you're doing a 30-minute set.
Yes.
How does someone, because a lot of people might have 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I did a 10-minute set on I think it was Mike G's show.
Okay.
But how do you get from 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, to 30 minutes or even an hour long set? Because that's a different beast.
Yes.
And a lot of comics don't have that.
Yes. So one of the many things that I do, I teach a class on writing sermons. And so,
what?
Yes. I'm the founder of Pulpit Consciousness and talk about all the things. So I teach them how to write a mini sermon, which is 5 to 7 minutes. And then I take that same sermon, I tell them to expand it into half an hour.
Okay.
You fill it in. I do the same thing with jokes. people say, get to your point. Well, I'm getting to my point when it's 5 to 7 minutes. But when it's going to be 30 minutes, I can elaborate on certain things. On the Bill stories, if I'm talking about calling Bill about whatever, a new show, I can tell you what he said in 2 minutes, or I can tell you what he said in 10 minutes. So it's a matter of expanding on your story without it being too long and getting to your point.
Do you ever feel like comedy is harder for you as a woman? Because I do feel that comedy can be a bit of a boys' club, and it can have a lot of men, and sometimes women get on the outside, and I'm sure you're not in this life, but sometimes men can hint at, hey, well, I can pay you another way. Like, no.
Yeah. And you know what? When I auditioned for the National Comedy Show, I looked around the room and I said, I'm the only woman in here. And then add to that, I was the oldest woman. Well, the oldest person in the room. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. And so, of course, by the end of the night, everybody likes to joke, oh, Clara-D's getting tired. Like, yeah, but I probably have more energy than most of you in this room. But it was like I was the oldest. I said, yeah, I'm 58. Glad to be 58, but I thought I'm the only woman in here. How did that happen? Yeah. And I did feel like, wow, this is something that women encounter, often being the only woman. And then when you add clean to that, it's like, here's the church girl in this boys club,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's challenging, and it's interesting at the same time, because when you get to be 58, like, Whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I am. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm 58.
So we're just about out of time. And you don't look 58 because, as you know,
woo,
it don't crack. So what do we need to do to keep supporting you? When's your next? So is there anything we can do? Do we get to vote on the South Carolina? Do we have to do anything? And then when's your next show in Indianapolis?
Okay, so voting in South Carolina, you have to be there. So we don't know how that's going to pan out, but it's all good because it's a win-win. I do one show a year, which is in August. I was doing 2, but I do so many other shows throughout the year that I just broke it down to 1 per year. My next show is going to be probably the first Saturday in August. And I will just be soliciting your support because it's just not for me laughing and having fun. As I stated, I am a victim advocate. I have things that I do on the side that does not involve my job at all, get a disclaimer, but sometimes I use those funds to assist families who I see are going through things. I've gotten calls. It's been a homicide at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've contacted the family at 7 o'clock in the morning. I know they've been there all night. I'm bagging up toothbrushes, toothpaste, washcloths, because you're not leaving your loved one's side, if they're in surgery, what have you. So sometimes I use some of those funds to support our families in that way. So I just ask for your continued support.
So you said you only do 1 show a year.
I've been doing 1 a year.
And we've already done that show for this year.
Yeah.
So we have to wait until 2025, August of 2026.
Yep, unless something pop up before then. If I get time before then I'll do another show. But I'm booked someplace every month. In the month of October, I've done 4 shows already.
But you've got other places, so the ones that are coming up are kind of private events?
If I have public shows, I promise I will let you all know.
Okay, let us know.
Yeah, we will know.
All right.
And Cameron said he's going to be there.
Yes, I will.
A year in advance,
Absolutely.
It's October.
I didn't even need a year in advance. So she would have said next month, this month, And when's your next show?
All right, is comedy your thing?
In what way?
Is it like, do you enjoy going to shows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you do stand-up?
No, I don't do stand-up. I can do stand-up as part of my emceeing to fill time.
Okay.
But I'm not a stand-up comedian. If anything, these are all different things. Not everybody can do everything. So, some people are good at stand-up. Some people are good at acting and different things. I would be more on the acting. I would love to be in a sitcom.
You've told me that before.
I would love to be in a sitcom.
Wow. To see that.
Yes.
Well, I want to recruit someone for my next show, and I have a hard time finding people to do clean comedy.
No. Hey, give me the script.
Okay.
I'm there.
You got to talk about your life.
Yeah. That's okay. You
got to write your own script.
Well, it's her show. I'm just the actor.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a good point. Do you still do skits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see some of those.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen any of those yet.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of those skits and what they look like.
Yeah. I train our advocates, and we have our quarterly training. It's common for me to do a skit.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, you gotta. Yeah. It's a lot of heavy and bad stuff happening out there. So I'm glad that people can just have access to you just to make their day a little bit brighter. Because
thank you. Yes,
it's rough out there.
And my next show, because I heard you, is gonna be. I'm just going around town. I'm doing a lot more open mics.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to post them.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, I'll be there. They just let me know.
Okay. We in there. We'll play it. We'll play a clip here for everybody, so everybody knows that you actually are a comic. All right, that's gonna do it for this edition of Fox 59 tonight. Deja, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim.
Clara-D, appreciate you so much for coming in and having a good time with us. We appreciate you. Good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate both of you.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk more with you on my radio show Sunday morning on 106.7 WTLC and Hot 100.9. And you can find all of Deja's fantastic stories and writing right now at fox59.com. Good night.